Hey sister girls, it's Dylesia. If you spin the block on me every Monday, welcome back. If not, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share this with someone as soon as you hear something that you think will impact them, or most importantly, that impacts you. A lot of this stuff that I talk about, we don't actually talk about with other people in our life. So if you feel like it hits your heart, then chances are somebody else can relate as well if you know that they have a relationship that is trying with their mom. A little bit of background information about me. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and for over a decade, I have specialized in working with women as a therapist to help them overcome something that I call mother-daughter trauma. So, for the sake of this platform on YouTube, you can think of me as the sister you never had who helps you heal from the experiences with your mom that you rarely talk about. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that is so important. It is when you go home and spend the holidays at your mama's house, what are you going to do? So that is a topic that I have worked with so many women in therapy to talk about, to prepare for, to decompress after. So I wanted to put this video together. And as you can see, I have a lot of luggage right here. Like, I actually am wondering if the luggage is bigger than me in the frame, and I don't know because I can't see it. But I brought out my big boy stuff. Like, this is the luggage, okay? This is the stuff that you have to check under the plane because you can't possibly put all of this overhead. And I brought this out because I really want to impress upon you that the first and foremost, most important, and everything that I tell you today stems from this thing that you have to do if you're going to be spending the holidays at your mom's house is to take up space, okay? Studies show, so many studies, if you go put this in Google, so many things are going to come up, that adult children often regress when they are around their parents. So the feeling that you have of shrinking, that is something that many adult children across the entire world can relate to. And it happens over the holidays. It happens when funerals happen and everybody's just rushing home and kind of doesn't think about who they're going to stay with. So regression is something that we all have to contend with if we're going to be under the same roof as, honestly, not just our mom biologically, but a mother-in-law, a father-in-law, any adult relative or adult figure, person who is an adult and maybe they're not related to you in any way, but they just hold some level of authority because they're older than you. So just know that these tips in this video might trigger your thoughts in terms of regarding your mom, but it also might make you think about other things. I know that for my husband and I, when we first got married, we used to stay at his mom's house when we would go home a lot of times for the holidays. And, that ship has far past sailed at this point. But I would watch him regress, and I didn't really have so much regression because she wasn't my mom. And I'm also not a huge respectability politics person. I'm kind of myself. I've worked so hard to be who I am that I'm going to show up as that all the time. Like, I don't care where we are. The environment is going to shift and shape to me, not vice versa. So, I would notice it in him. And honestly, it would really leave me in a lot of situations where I felt like I wasn't even like a wife. It's like, where my husband go? He's not my husband while he's with me. He is his mama's child or his brother's brother, So that's something that you just have to be aware of, especially as you grow up and you have a family and you're not just taking yourself back home, but you're taking your entire family with you and you have an obligation to them and they see you in a different light than sometimes your mom is able to. So as I said, we no longer stay at home with his mom when we go home. My mom doesn't live back at home anymore. We're from the same hometown. We get hotels now, and in hotels, you're able to take up space. You're able to, if that's something that's hard for you to do with other people, you also have like a safe space to kind of decompress and charge up as you go back into being in the same space as people that, sometimes are really difficult to deal with. So if you're watching this video, chances are you're like, I have this trip coming up, for the holidays or for whatever time of the season that you're watching this. And I don't know what to do because I probably don't want to stay at home with my mom, but there's an expectation that I will. Now, I will say that I have worked with women in not just individual women, but also mother-daughter pairs. And we've had to have tough conversations like this, like, well, mom, she don't want to come home. Let's talk about why or what can be done to the environment to make it more conducive to supporting her coming home or staying, because a lot of times it is really important to moms that their children are all in one place, and I can certainly understand that. But it's like, if you want me to stay in your house, you also have to come and compromise a little bit. We have to make the environment safe for me. So nonetheless, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So I came up with 5 different things that I've heard, over the course of my over decade long career and work with women who experience mother-daughter trauma. 5 areas that I have seen my clients physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally regressing when they are headed back home. So those are the eating habits, those are curfew and just whereabouts in general, those are friends, those are clothing, and then language. So I want you to comment down in the box below and let me know, what are you regressing? What are you noticing that you regress in when you head home? What are those areas? Are there any of the areas that I just shared? Are there other areas? Because as you write, you'd be surprised. This happens on my Instagram all the time. Other women will say, oh my God, me too. So you'll get so much support and community if you comment below. So those are 5 areas. And I'm going to go down, through each one and give you things that you can say to your mom, in response to her having some sort of objection to the normal way that you do things. Now, what I will say about these statements that I'm going to give you, they also are really grounding for you, because I realize that psychologically and emotionally, when we are around our parents, if we haven't broken the umbilical cord, so to say, and that umbilical cord is longer for some of us, broken for some of us, shorter for some of us. If we haven't gotten to a point where we're able to be an adult around our parents, then it can be hard, like, to say some of these things. And really, it's going to remind you that you're an adult, because psychologically and emotionally, you don't know that. You see this person, and this is your parent, and you just immediately, like, all of your adulthood flows out the window. And it is a parent's responsibility to notice that, because I believe that, children are just naturally going to do that. It is your parents' responsibility to encourage you to be yourself. But if you're watching this video, you probably don't have a mom who is going to do that. So I say all that to say that when my daughters grow up and, maybe they're having a hard time being themselves around their mom, first of all, they're going to know that they can be themselves around their mama, because they mama herself around them, and is constantly encouraging and pouring that into them at 17 months old. But if they ever should forget, I'm going to be like, is that what you want to do? Or what do you want to do, honey? What do you want to eat? What do you want to wear? So that is what your mom should be doing. But chances are, if you're watching this video, that she is absolutely not. So like I said, everything that I say today, I want you to think about it from the lens of taking up space. In fact, before you even head on that trip home, I want you to write down, what are the top areas, and honestly, not even just top, but give me an exhaustive list of, and you don't have to actually deliver this to me, right? This is something that you can write for yourself in your journal, just so that you're aware and on the lookout. And you can also share it with your therapist as well. As I've shared in other videos, I own a multi-state group therapy practice, and one of our specialty areas is mother-daughter trauma recovery. So if you do not have a therapist and you live in Colorado, DC, District of Columbia, Maryland, Tennessee, Virginia, then definitely hit the description box below, click the link, fill out our consultation questionnaire, and find you a therapist, okay? Because I'm constantly giving homework on these YouTube videos that I'm doing. And you want to have, somebody to bounce these ideas off of, because I am not your therapist and there's not the capacity to interface back and forth with me regarding this. So I want you to make an exhaustive list of the areas that you are commonly regressing in. This is going to require you to reflect back on times that you've spent with your mom previously, in her presence, at her house. And when you walk through the door, what do you leave behind? What do you feel like, well, this is appropriate for my life, but it's not appropriate for my mama's house? Because those are the things that, as we continue to visit, if that's something you decide to do, as we continue to stay, if that's something you decide to do, that you're constantly going to be challenging yourself to show up differently regarding. Because the goal is that the same person you are outside of your mom's house, you are in her house, okay? So number one, we talked about eating habits. So I see this manifest itself in a number of different ways. So either that adult child, in this case you, has decided that they don't eat these certain things anymore. Maybe family is eating like all these cholesterol unfriendly foods for the holidays, and the child has decided that they eat healthy now. They eat greens, and this is a black family joke. Oh, she over there eating sides. That's what you'll get said. You'll get said about you. So if you've had, that experience, that's one way that I've seen it manifest. I've also seen it manifest where, parents, mothers cook differently than their children do. Maybe you've decided that you're going to not use as much salt, or that the way that you fix this dish is different than your mom used to fix it, and she watches you do it because you're preparing it for the holiday dinner and is critical of it. Either way, there is a statement that I want you to use. So usually I eat da 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 da, or I cook it this way, or however you want to fill in that blank. Usually I blank, but it seems like that's not okay while I'm here. So if you watch my first video, which was on how to survive holiday dinner with your toxic mom, I told you about labeling with seams and sound and feel. So this is one of those statements, okay? You put the ball back in the other person's court, make them reflect upon their resistances to what you are doing or saying, and it causes them to either back off or to have some self-awareness and really talk about why it's making them uncomfortable. So it's a tool to either get somebody to shut up or to keep talking. So you want to leave that statement open-ended, and awkward silences are hard, y'all, but this is the way to heal it. So you want to leave that statement open-ended and just say that. Usually I do it this way. Usually I eat this way, but it seems like that's not okay here. Dot, dot, dot. Ellipses, okay? Number two, we're doing curfew and we're doing whereabouts, okay? So I am a mom, obviously. You may be watching this and you are or you aren't. One thing that I can understand is that we want to know where our kids at if they're supposed to be in our house, okay? I think it's a lot different if your child is not living in your house. You're not really worried about, when they're going to come in per se. Some parents might be, but most parents are not. It's usually just when I know that you're supposed to be in my house that I can't go to sleep unless you're here. I can completely empathize and understand with that. What I don't appreciate and what you may not recognize is that instead of saying that and leaning into the discomfort and the anxiety that your mom is experiencing, she puts it back on you. Why you want to stay out so late? You need to be in the house at this and this time. It's a very controlling type of vibe that is being given versus her saying something like, I am anxious. I can't sleep at night when you're not in the house and you're supposed to be here. She doesn't say that. It's not coming from a space of self-awareness or emotional responsibility. It's coming from, when you're in my house, you need to follow these rules and do this. But I want you to know that the background of it, the backdrop, is anxiety, okay? So if your mom comes at you with a curfew or whereabout question while you're at her house, I want you to say something along the lines of, in fact, maybe say this in total, because I want to make sure you don't chop and screw it, okay? Because this ain't no remix. I don't want you to chop and screw it and it loses its meaning, which is why you need a therapist, okay? Because maybe you say, I watched that video. I love what Dylesia said, but I wouldn't say it that way. Can you help me say it in a way that I would say it, but not lose the meaning of it so I can still be an assertive communicator? But either way, the statement is, I know it can be anxiety provoking when whoever is supposed to be in your house is not in it by the time you need to go to bed. Would you rather I let you know when I'm on the way, or that I stay at home? That's going to make most moms feel a little bit guilty. And it's not that we're using guilt to be manipulative, but we're using it more as a self-reflective tool, okay? Because what you've essentially presented to your mom is, girl, you blocking my shine, okay? You might be cop blocking sometimes, all right? Mind your business. But no, so you are putting me in a position where, based on your anxiety and your own emotional experience, I have to either stay at home to appease you, or, we can compromise and I can just let you know when I'm on the way. And I'm not just rolling up in your house any time of the night. I've given you awareness. And if I know that I'm going to stay out, later I can give you a ballpark amount of time of when I'm going to come. But the main thing here is we ain't letting mama tell us that we got to be in the house at 9 o'clock and we are 72 years old. Okay. Now, granted, black don't crack, but I'm not 72. But the thing is, you are an adult. And when you come in the house, regardless of whose house it is, it's up to you, okay? So there are assertive ways to communicate that and also be in a space where you're willing to compromise with that person so that y'all can come up with a conclusion that supports both of you. You're able to go out and have fun and have as much fun as you want to, and mama able to go to sleep without feeling anxious, okay? So number 3 is friends. So a lot of times, especially if we've moved away or, just made different life choices, gone in different directions than people that were a part of our childhood, we don't have the same friends. And sometimes our parents really, really, really like those friends. So if you're in a position where your mom was like in love with this friend, it could even be a partner that you used to have, and she is still dead set on you need to marry this person, and you already married with 7 kids. So, and if you got 7 kids, bless you, sis, okay? Because I got 2, and I say I'm 2 and through. But no, I might, who knows? Who knows? Okay, we're not gonna limit God, but 2 at the same time, it's like, it's a whole different situation. But anyway, so friends, you have a different idea for how you're going to navigate your friendships, and your mom is stuck on this person. Where they at? Have you seen them while you're here? Da 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 da. That happens all the time. So you are not alone. Now, I want you to say something along the lines of, I haven't talked to them in a while. Is that okay with you? Again, we putting the ball back in mama's court. I wish I had a ball because it's like I really want to dribble and shoot right now. Feeling really ballsy. But no, so we want to put the ball back in mom's court. Essentially, this is the same sort of line of questioning where we are making her acknowledge why she is resistant to us living our life. And we're also simultaneously reminding ourselves that we got a life to live, okay? You got other friends that you actually feel more connected to, that you're more in line with, and you are entitled to make your own friend choices and not just be with people because your mom thinks you should, okay? So again, we're making her just think about, why is this okay with me? Why isn't it okay with me? And that should make her realize I'm trying to control my child's friendships. And if she is okay with doing that, then that says a lot about her, okay? Because I realize that the result of some of these questions is going to be more defensiveness and more aggression from your mom. And that just teaches you a lot. It shows you that, maybe this is somebody that I need to not stay around when I'm at home. Maybe I should go to another hotel, or, in some cases, and this is not everybody's case, and I'm not saying that it has to be yours. In some cases, you realize that, like, I just can't come back here anymore. And one thing that I have constantly said, and, said to clients, said to friends, said now on this video, is that you have to keep people as close to you as you can and still love them. And for some people, that means, woo, you over there. And for other people, that means come on close, like you and I just see eye to eye and we get it. And it sucks because the more boundaries you implement and somebody doesn't respect them, you realize you need more boundaries. So I hate that that is something that a lot of us have to figure out with our parents. And sometimes that means estrangement, like in my case. But you deserve to be comfortable, and you deserve for yourself to be mentally well. So, if that's what happens as a result of you constantly enforcing boundaries and just realizing, dang, there are no more boundaries to enforce, the only other option is the end of this relationship, then that is just something that you have to come to, because again, your mental health is more important than your relationship with your mom. Because ideally, you should be able to have both, right? And when you can't and you have to choose yourself. So number 4, like I said, is clothing. So as y'all can see today, okay, sis got on a crop top, okay? I'm cropping it up, okay? I can't shake too much because, I don't want to be disrespectful to my husband. But I have on a crop top. I have on leather pants. I have on these shoes that don't make no sense, okay? I call them ghetto fools, but they cuffed in the front, they look like a loafer. Then you got a party in the back like a mullet. You got your foot out. Are you cold, sis? Are you hot? What is going on? This is an outfit that I think a mom would be like, what you doing, sis? You got your crop top. Why are you wearing it at my house? Are you hot or cold? What is going on with the weather in your shoes? So I intentionally wore this for this video because I am intentional with y'all. Because I want you to know that when you go to your mom's house, you gotta wear what you be wearing when you be wearing what you be wearing. You cannot go and put on your big Barney sweatshirt from the 1920s. Okay? You have to be yourself, or you're gonna constantly become less and less of yourself. The thing is, we're either growing in one direction or the other. So if you're not challenging yourself to not regress, you're just regressing more. And it might be a Barney sweatshirt this time, but next time you turn around, you're going to have barrettes in your hair. And that's an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. So when it comes to clothing, if your mom does give you some pushback on what you're wearing, try to change what you're wearing, things like that, I want you to ask her, what makes it hard for you to see me in this? Another kind of question that puts it back on mom. It makes her think about her emotions. And if she doesn't have, the capacity to think about her emotions, she probably will just be quiet, or she's going to get mad, huff and puff, and walk away. But that still is a version of leaving me alone. So I don't care if you leave me alone and you mad about it, as long as you leave me alone, right? But you also might have a mom that question challenges her, and it's like, dang, this is my problem more than anything. Maybe I was held back by my mom when I was growing up, and she didn't let me wear things because she always thought that it was going to cause me to get sexually violated. And, is that not rape culture that I'm promoting when I ask my daughter that? Like, there are all these questions and thoughts that you cause to be aroused in someone when you ask questions like this, okay? So last and final, we have language, okay? So language could be anything from curse words. Like, I know a lot of people just don't curse around their parents. They don't curse around people who are older than them. That can be a respect type of thing. Now, like I said, I am unapologetically me because I just always want to make sure that I'm not like being who somebody else wants me to be. And I know that people pleasing it's like in my blood. So I have to do that so that I don't people please, right? So I'm in a different space than maybe you are in. And maybe you're at the point where you're like, I ain't gonna cuss in front of my mama. But there's also other things that she wants me to do that I don't want to do. Like, I was talking to someone one day, and they said that they have to say ma'am, and sir in their household. And, not their household, but their parents' household. Like, everything is yes, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, whatever. And that wasn't something that person actually agreed with, because it's like, what is this? Are we what's going on here? Are we related, or what's going on? So whatever the thing is, whether it be cursing, whether it be language of formality, whatever it be, if you use ebonics and your parents try to make you code switch, or whatever the thing is, whatever it is about your language, same sort of question. I want you to ask mom, should I say it the way you want me to, or the way that I normally do? Makes her think, right? Am I trying to control my child? Or it's like, you got to get out of my house. But that's what you wanted to do anyway, right? Like, you didn't actually want to be there if you can't be yourself. So again, those are 5 areas that I commonly see women regress in when they return home and stay at home with their parents, or even when they return home and they just are returning home for a dinner, or to go grab something from their mom's house, or whatever the thing is. When they're around their parents, these are the areas that I see. And I say parents, I didn't grow up in a two-parent household, so I don't necessarily mean that. I mean that these skills that I'm saying are transferable. Maybe you do this when you're around your dad too. Maybe you do it when you're around your uncle, your aunt, your grandma, whoever the case may be. You're able to apply these skills in the form of questions that I gave you, and create a different reality for yourself. One that allows you to show up as the adult that you are, and just be your age, and not go home and feel icky inside. And by home, I actually mean back to your house, and feel like you've betrayed yourself, because that's what this is all about. It's about not self-betraying. Okay, a lot of us self-betray because we want to be loyal to our moms, and it's time out for that. Okay, you shouldn't have to choose between yourself and your mom, and if you do, like I said, you got to choose you. So I will be back with another video next Monday, and I have looked so forward to this video. I'm always so happy to talk to you all. I'm like, I get to get fly and like help women heal from mother-daughter trauma. This is such a dream. So please share this video with your friends, with your family, with your social media friends, just in case anybody up there that you don't know can relate to this subject. And I will see you next time. Mwah.